Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and go. So my name's Jennifer, and I'm just visiting the Academy as well. And so I'm just tuning in from Tennessee in the United States.
Hi,
Um,
Jennifer.
Hi. So it's good to meet everyone. And I'm currently doing online spiritual coaching,
Hmm.
but I've done a ton of pro bonos and I've had one paying client. And so I'm just trying to build my business and start to get some momentum. And what my struggle that I'm finding I'm having recently is just like structure and like putting things into action. So implementing the stuff that I already know. It seems like
Hmm.
I'm having some resistance come up with, you know, systematizing and just getting more consistent and things like that.
So having a system, is that something that you're used to having in your life, Jennifer? So before you did this energy work, what were you doing before, or have you always done this?
Actually, I was a counselor. I worked in a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center, like an inpatient treatment center. I did
Okay.
that for almost 10 years.
Hmm.
Um, but as a personality, I think I'm much more kind of like fly by the seat of my pants. I don't really do a lot of planning or structuring or anything like that
So,
normally, but I know that that's not necessarily a good thing because it holds me back in my life in certain areas. So I want to be
really? Do you
more.
think so? What about if you just leaned into that for a while and actually just allowed yourself to just flow with your natural energy, to be fly by the seat of your pants kind of gal? Interesting, when you're sort of saying about the counseling work for 10 years, in those environments would be very structured. There would be a process, I would say.
Mhm.
I mean, you can
Yeah, sure.
correct me. That you would have to follow, um, to coach someone through and in that environment. And so, it's perhaps the resistance is coming because being in an energetical space is more about being fluid, because you're working with energy rather than the constraints and the confines of structure.
Hmm.
And so it's almost, I feel like for you, it's almost like you've got some unlearning to do,
Okay.
you know. And I'm just wondering if I can, oh yeah, that's better. Um, yeah, the resistance is there because you feel like you have to bring order into this world that you're wanting to create, this new world that you're wanting to create. But it's not happening, and it's not happening for a reason. It's not happening because you're crap at bringing order because you've spent 10 years in it. It's because it's not meant to have that much structure and order, you know. And if you actually leaned into your natural, authentic self and just allowed what felt right for you to do in any now moment, you'd probably get a hell of a lot more done.
That's interesting because actually one of the things that made me decide to try to go into business for myself versus going back to a corporate, well, they were nonprofit jobs, but
Yeah.
going back to an office setting was I didn't like I worked for a lot of places that got government grants, and there was a lot of red tape involved with that and a lot of
Yeah.
just strict rules and documentation. And I didn't like that. So that's why I
Yeah.
decided I wanted to work from home for myself.
Yeah.
Um, but also on the flip side of that, then I feel like I'm not being productive. I'm not getting things done. And like I'm not making the money that I'd like to make. So it's interesting that you say that.
So think about where your focus is. So you're focusing on what you don't have, or you're focusing on what you do have. So you're focusing, by the sounds of it to me, you're focusing on The fact that you're not getting to do things, you're procrastinating, or you're not actioning things. So you're just getting more of that, right? So it's the law of attraction. So where are you focused? So here's a I'll give you a little bit of a one of my things, I don't know what you want to call it. So, oh gosh, the hair. Sorry, ladies, I did go to sleep at some point. Imagine yourself holding a stick, not a stick like that, but a stick like that. So you're in the middle, okay? And at one end of the stick, you've got ease. What's easy? And on the other end of the stick, you've got resistance, the difficult path. So you are here in the middle. Which way are you going to look? Which way do you want to look? You want
I
to
want the
look,
easy side.
you want the easy path. So when you look at your situation, imagine your situation, imagine you're holding that stick. So what is the easiest thing what is easy? What is easy is to go with your normal flow, is to go with who you are. If you're trying to put structure around something that shouldn't be structured, there's a resistance there. You're now looking at resistance because you're trying to box something that doesn't want to be boxed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It does.
You know, so I think the thing is for you to unlearn some behaviors around the environment that you have been born and raised in for 10 years kind of thing, you know, the habitual sort of stuff. But I think at the same time, I'd like to say to you that it would be really cool for you to spend more time with yourself and really accepting that beautiful flow of nature that you have. I love the fact that you're a squiggle. I love the fact that, you know, you're a free flowing energy, and be with that free flow and accept her as a free flow. Don't try and box her. Don't try and cage her. And
I love it. I love that you describe it like that, because I feel like as society, you know, like we don't reward people that don't fit in the box. So I didn't even think about that until you said that I probably do have some um like disdain towards that characteristic of myself, even though it's beautiful, but it's not rewarded in society. So
but
I probably learned to.
that's your interpretation of what you think society isn't giving attention to. But the fact is, society is moving very, very, very quickly into a very different state of consciousness.
Yeah.
And this is why you have found yourself moving into this arena, because you are actually here as a light worker. And so it is time for us to shine our light. And we have to dismantle these old ways of thinking that the universe, that people, the population of the universe don't want healers, that we are some weird people with weird ideas that have got no idea. You know, we've got to break down that fear-based thinking. And that is the work that you want to bring into the world. But you're going to have to do that for yourself as well as you are bringing that work in. Does that make sense? So you're going to have to change your perspective on where you feel that this work sits in the world.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
This is so needed right now. This is why you're being called right now. It's why we are all here this morning. You know, our energy, all of our energy has been brought here this morning for a reason, or this evening, or this afternoon, wherever you are. We're all being called. We're light workers. We're all being called now. You know, there's no pissing about anymore. This is it, guys. We're up. We've been called up, you know, for service. And and it's our job to start dismantling some of these chronically structured, I want to almost say abusive environments that we've grown to accept as normal, and it isn't. I mean, imagine if you could work with those beautiful souls that have those addictions, but come at them from a more spiritual perspective and work with their souls and their self-esteem and their love for themselves, as opposed to the box ticking process that perhaps you were used to or being asked to be in.
Yeah, I mean, it feels better for sure.
Yeah, that you can really get to know that person that they are, the real person inside behind all of that yuckiness that has consumed them, that's driven them there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you didn't before, but as an energy worker, you're working with them on a very different level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I appreciate the perspective.
Mm. Yeah. So I guess hello, that one jumped out. My advice for you would be to consider working with who you are, Jennifer, that beautiful free spirit, and get to know her, and then wrap your business around her rather than trying to create the business and you try and fit into it.
I like that.
So this card dropped out as I was, I'll put my finger over it. As I was talking to you, for you, hold your center. Hold your center, young lady. I'll just give you a briefing. Have you been rushing out to meet others, trying to bend or accommodate their needs at the expense of your own well-being and inner peace? Now you are to strengthen your own energy, your own boundaries, to find your ground, firmly place your feet there and do not move. Feel your feet anchoring like a beautiful tree. Let yourself experience quite certainty as you hold your center with commitment, courage, and consciousness. You are learning to trust in your own instincts, to take your own journey without comparison to the life path of another. So that's where I'm saying to you about that contrast from the environment that you've been used to, which is very structured, very document driven, and you're comparing the business that you want to really be in with that and trying to fit it in there, but there's no space for that. It's a very different consciousness. So the consciousness of the world, this 3D matrix that we're trying to dismantle and bring down, you're trying to bring the wholesome, beautiful, loving, kind, compassionate, source love, unconditional love into that. Ugh. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
The earth needs your light, which can only come from you. You will offer so much less if you try to make it match your beauty to what you perceive to be the beauty of another. Many souls who are different and unique were not understood, acknowledged, and valued for whom they are as children. So that's interesting. And I sort of mentioned about, you thinking about all those beautiful souls that you've worked with in that drugs and alcohol environment. And if you were able to take them out of that real structured environment and put them into your nurturing space, how beautiful that would make them and how you will see them for who they really are, Instead, they were encouraged to conform, to change, to be other than their true self in order to be loved. This can be a hard pattern to break. Yet the time is is here for you to love and honor yourself as yourself. You are beautiful. You do not need to change for another. You certainly do not need to change for the divine. You are being encouraged instead to distill your essence to become even more of you. Hold your center now and do not be rattled by any other through intimidation, confrontation, doubt, jealousy, or fear. Hold your center means you accept your innate value and worth and right to exist and thrive and accept the love that created you as you are in order to fulfill your divine destiny. So hopefully that resonates with you, hun.
Absolutely. I would say that was dead on.
Fabulous.
Thank
Spirit is
you.
always talking. So hopefully that helps allows you to take how you're feeling and putting it into a different energy space.
Definitely does. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Just bringing it back into yourself, bringing it back into your center, into you. Yeah, I definitely, so all I keep getting, I just keep getting squiggly lines. It's just that free flow, that spirit of yours. And that's what needs to shine through. Break out.
I love that. Thank you. That's going to give me a visual to think of this, coloring outside the lines, the squiggly line.
The squiggly lines. Yeah. There's something actually, Claire, one of the part of the coaching with Claire actually was we looked at personalities, whether we were a square, a triangle, a squiggle, a circle. And I've just, like for you, Jennifer, I've just totally got you as a squiggle. At the end of the day, I know you stayed in that environment as a counsellor for 10 years, because at the heart of all of that is who you are as a light worker. You want to be here to set people free, to lead them to a place of peace.
Yeah.
But the environment was too structured for you. And so in the end, it was always going to spit you out.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that was you making a choice because it just didn't feel right from on a cellular level, and you just had to go. I see that. Sorry, Claire, I just saw that come up. Everyone's a squiggle. That's so cool. I can't remember what I was saying now because I've lost my way with that. Where was I going? I can't remember what I was saying. I've lost it. Sorry. Lost in mid-flow. Claire, you interrupted me. I'm not going to look at my screen anymore.
That's okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The environment spat you out. So the universe spat you out. So, you're going to sit in a space of dis-ease for so long, and then the environment is going to, or something will change that will just spit you out because you're not meant to be there. So whether that was, people find themselves in jobs that they don't like, eventually the environment will spit you out, whether that's that you get made redundant or, you fall ill and you just have to leave the job, or you become pregnant and leave the job. There'll be something that will split you away from that environment. And the universe will always keep moving you to where you need to be going. Life is happening for you. So it's always moving you to where you need to be going, even if you don't think so at the time.
Yeah, that's very accurate.
Cool.